Assalamu alaikum.
وعليكم السلام.
Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. So we have reached the last part or parts of the Surah Al-Fath that we have been discussing over the last several weeks and sessions. We have seen several scenes surrounding the truce of Hudaybiyah, and we have seen the behavior of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his companions, and what were the ethical underpinning basis for their behavior. And at the same time, Quran in contrast showed us the behavior of the oligarchy in Mecca, the elites of Mecca and their entourage. But there was also another group that also the surah shared their story with us, and this way you will see the full scene of really this important really event. And as you have seen with me, that and we have seen together that this event, this incident, the truce of Hudaybiyah, was definitely a deflection point in the history of the Islamic message and the Quranic message. This group, you can see their story in verses. Can you please, Shakil, put the diagram so that people will know where we are? So again, with the central theme in ayah number 14, you can see symmetrical to it verses 11 to 13 and 15 to 17. And you can see how these two groups of verses complement each other to give us a clear idea about this group that Quran refers to them in its terminology, in the Quranic terminology, as al-mukhallafun or al-mukhallafin, which literally means those who stayed behind. You remember when Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam decided, really like, or made the decision to go to Mecca and perform Hudaybiyah peacefully. So he did not only called upon his immediate companions in Medina to accompany him, but also he asked the surrounding tribes. Okay, there were 6 prominent tribes, Bedouin tribes around or close to Medina, who basically accepted the message of Islam, but they were not, their faith was not strong enough to respond positively to the call of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And so basically they did not accompany him in that endeavor, and so they stayed behind. Okay, so Quran is sharing with us how they basically tried to justify their behavior. سيقول لك المخلفون من الأعراب شغلتنا أموالنا وأهلنا. Before we get into their justification, I just want to make a distinction between these tribes. As we said, these were not hypocrites. They did not really like show that they are Muslims and behind the back of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and behind the backs of the believers, they were behaving really as disbelievers. No, these were really true believers, but they did not really like obeyed in that particular endeavor. Okay, the call of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And so they the reason I am trying, I want really to make that distinction, because if you go to Surah At-Tawbah number 9 verse number 83, and here Quran is talking about al-munafiqeen, the hypocrites or the conspirators, okay, in Medina. Okay, and so the Quran will also refer to them as those who stayed behind, al-mukhallafun. Okay, so فرح المخلفون بمقعدهم خلاف رسول الله. These hypocrites are really different. Okay, they the Prophet Al-Quran told Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the believers, it is really good for these people not to be with you, because they will be really, I mean, if you go out to fight your enemy, your external enemy, and they are within your roads, I mean, like they will really be a reason for your own defeat. Okay, and so they before we go into this verse number 83, can you go up to verse in the same surah to verse number 45? I mean 47. Yes, here. لو خرجوا فيكم ما زادوكم إلا خبالا ولا أوضعوا خلالكم يبغونكم الفتنة وفيكم سماعون لهم. You see, they will be causing trouble if they go with you. They go out with you, they will cause a trouble, and they will basically create tumult and sedition. وفيكم سماعون لهم, and there are people who may listen to what they say. Okay, and so some of them may be spies for the enemy. Okay, so this is why I said, like, in the situation of the hypocrites, although Quran called them mukhallafun, okay, and because they stayed behind, so in that situation it was good for for these people not to be among the Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the believers. And so if you go now to verse number 83, you will understand exactly what I am trying to say here. فإن رجعك الله إلى طائفة منهم فاستأذنوك للخروج فقل لن تخرجوا معي أبدا ولن تقاتلوا معي عدوا. So even if they if you go back to and you want to go out again, and they may ask you to go with you, you have to decline their request. And can you highlight the word abadan? لن تخرجوا معي أبدا. Yes, this word. Yeah, but the word abadan. Abadan, forever.
Forever.
You see? So as long as I am alive, as long I am, making the decisions, you are not going to accompany me. Because of so these people, these hypocrites who stayed behind, okay, and they did not accompany Muhammad in his endeavors, and even when they asked to be with him and at another really endeavor, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam declined for them like to be with him forever, because again of their negative effect of their presence among the believers. This in Surah Al-Fath, Quran is talking about a different type of people who stayed behind. These tribes who accepted Islam, and they gave allegiance to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but in that particular event, they declined really like to accompany the Prophet, and they will give their justification for that. Although definitely the Prophet did not really accept them, but at least to understand what was their really thinking. سيقول لك المخلفون من الأعراب شغلتنا أموالنا وأهلنا فاستغفر لنا. So they are going to tell you. So Quran is telling Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam what they are going to tell you. Okay, that okay, we were busy with our animals, with our families. I mean, with our living and everything. So ask for forgiveness for us. فاستغفر لنا. يقولون بألسنتهم ما ليس في قلوب. This is not the true reason. They were really scared. They were afraid. And some of them expressed that by saying, you are going to be a small number compared to what the Mecca may deploy to resist you, or like to and from the beginning Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was not going to fight. He was going peacefully, okay, and to basically stop this cycle of violence between Mecca and Medina. So they were saying something by their tongues, but it did not reflect what is in their hearts. قل فمن يملك لكم من الله شيئا إن أراد بكم ضرا أو أراد بكم نفعا. So who is going to intervene on your behalf? If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make you or caused you some harm or caused you some type of benefit, okay, however you gained or lost. بل كان الله بما تعملون خبيرا. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is aware of what and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what exactly why you are doing this, what is in your hearts. Khabir, like what is really the trigger or the intentions behind really your, it's not only your external behavior that everybody can see, but he will know more than that. He will know what was deep in your hearts, what were your true intentions. And the next verse will elaborate more on that. بل ظننتم أن لن ينقلب الرسول والمؤمنون إلى أهليهم أبدا. You thought that the Meccans will basically smash the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam and his companions and the believers with him, and they are not going to come back to their own families in Medina. وَزُيِّنَ ذَلِكَ فِي قُلُوبِكُمْ. And so it was you magnified, if you like, you that idea in your hearts, you give it some like decorations, if you like. زُيِّنَ. Okay, so you were pleased with that type of thinking, that okay, and so you thought negatively or thought evil for the Prophet and his companions. وَكُنْتُمْ قَوْمًا بُورًا. You were people with no virtues. It's like when you say this is piece of land is bura, okay, it is given to as a description of a land that you cannot cultivate. It will not give you any produce, type of a produce, okay, it's dead. And your hearts, because they were devoid of virtue, your hearts were dead hearts. Again, we have seen how the companions, the 1,500 companions who responded to the Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam, and they had really like to be very steadfast and to patiently persevere along with Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam during very critical time, the time where of the negotiations, at the time when they had this rumor that Uthman radiyallahu anhu was assassinated, at the moment when they had to give allegiance to the Prophet under the tree to stand up with him against the aggressors, despite the fact that they were not, they have only their swords, they don't really they were not prepared for any type of battle, okay, and their numbers are not really great, okay. And so if it were not for the sakina that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala poured into their hearts, if it were not for the taqwa that they committed themselves to it, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helped them like to adhere to taqwa and its implications, okay, on their behavior, or their its impact on their behavior, so their hearts were alive, not like that group وَكُنْتُمْ قَوْمًا بُورًا. You see, so it's really a very beautiful contrast, okay? And again, it tells you what does it really mean, khabir compared to alim. Khabir, like really going inside, okay? The knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be deep to unravel these deep ideas inside us, these deep thoughts that no one can really know about them except really the person who is really experiencing them. Okay, so and now it is very clear in that situation, as if the verses here are reminding these tribes, okay, who basically stayed behind and they did not accompany the prophet. What does it really mean to believe? You see, إنما المؤمنون الذين آمنوا بالله ورسوله وجاهدوا بأموالهم وأنفسهم في سبيل الله. That the true belief is the one that will manifest itself in your behavior. The moment you said, I believed in this message, you became a shaheed, like the prophet, a witness, and you have to be present, and you have to support the message with everything, with all the resources you have, your voice, your efforts, your time, your money, your wealth, your property, even your own soul. At one time, I mean, like because the message will have really which means the truth, okay, becomes really the most important thing, okay, in the life of the believer, and they devote everything, okay, for that truth. And now you can وَمَنْ لَمْ يُؤْمِنْ بِاللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ فَإِنَّا أَعْتَدْنَا لِلْكَافِرِينَ سَعِيرًا. It's an indirect, if you like. Quran is not saying you don't believe, like up front. No. But he is saying revisit your, what does it really mean to believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and in his messenger. Otherwise, you know what will be the outcome. فَإِنَّا أَعْتَدْنَا لِلْكَافِرِينَ سَعِيرًا. You see, this is the point, that this is where if you start diverting or deviating from the implications of that belief, it will weaken further and further, and one can be concerned about the disease of kufr to creep into the hearts of these people. And so we so this is an indirect, if you like, advice, okay? Be careful. You see, wake up. It's not a matter of, okay, when things are really like fit your time and your conditions, you take it, and one I mean the moment ask you, I mean, dictates on you something that may go against really your plans and what you have been doing for your families and your for your living and for your business, for your animals and the plants and so on and so forth, and your property, okay, there is a problem here.
Mhm. And Dr. Lee, I think that's what
Yes.
I wanted to focus on. Like, I think whenever I read like something that is referring to what happened in Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's time, I think
Mm-hmm.
what is the lesson we can learn for right now, right?
Yes.
I think these ayahs are talking about how sometimes we lose hope, right? We
Mm-hmm.
don't, we
Mm-hmm.
said, okay, this cause is hopeless. We cannot do anything about it because I need to make sure I take care of myself and my families
Mm-hmm.
and my
Yeah.
self-interest and not worry about what's going to happen because it looks so, there's no coming out of, like, there's
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
such a big darkness there that I think there's no
Mm-hmm.
light gonna go through this. But I think
Yes.
that's the point these ayahs is trying to make. There is always hope, and
Yeah.
if you do that, you're not any better
Mm-hmm.
than people who are not believe. You don't who do not follow. You're similar as munafiqeen because you're not really believing in the message then,
Yes. Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. You are right. I mean, this is why I said, like, I mean, as if these verses are really a wake up call, okay, for these people, okay. Be vigilant, okay. It's not a matter of, okay, when and to as you put it very beautifully, like, as if like they lose hope, or they want things to only fit, okay, their own really conditions. They are not putting, okay, the the message and what does it really entail, okay, ahead, okay, of their own personal really interest. And to support what you were saying, if you go, in fact, today I was reading in Surah Al-Baqarah, number 2, verse number 195. Because this situation, okay, I mean, again, it can happen to any religious group, or any group like believing in a certain cause, okay. So the at a time, okay, the even some of the companions of the prophet said to themselves, okay, we have struggled along the side of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we have achieved this and that. Now let us go back and pay attention to our own affairs, okay. And so one will really wonder how, I mean, the Quran responded to uh, to this type of thinking, okay. And Quran is saying, وَأَنْفِقُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ وَلَا تُلْقُوا بِأَيْدِيكُمْ إِلَى التَّهْلُكَةِ. Can you underline التهلكة or highlight the word تهلكة? Like, تهلكة is from halak, destruction. Quran is saying, if you do not pay in the way of Allah, you are sending yourself into destruction. Again, here, أنفقوا في سبيل الله is like how you dedicate all your resources, okay, everything you have from your voice to your really wealth, I mean, and everything in between, and your own life, okay, and everything in between. The moment you start deviating from that thinking and that attitude, okay, the warning is really very harsh, that this is going to lead to destruction. You see, let alone when the situation is still murky. These people were saying this at a time when they were they achieved victories and important milestones, and they said, oh, no, I mean, you have to be really vigilant, okay? It's nothing, I mean, it's against, no one is saying that you should not take care of your personal affairs and taking care of your family. In fact, it is I mean, it's an obligation. But the point is, do not put that at the expense. You see, here is we as we always focus on the meaning of balance. Balance is not really like bouncing between extremes, but how to respond to all the dimensions in a balanced way, to be at equal distance from that. You have to be at equal distance from your taking care of your personal and family affairs, and to lead a really successful life, and at the same time, okay, to make sure that everything, all these resources are also dedicated and in line with what you believe in. Otherwise, what does it really mean to believe? And this is why Quran says, وَمَنْ لَمْ يُؤْمِنْ بِاللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ, as if, revise, revisit, what does it really mean? Okay, it's not a matter of, again, lip service, okay, or you want to act as a believer when you are comfortable, and when really when there is a crisis, you are not. It's like, okay, I am a doctor. Okay, it's not only doctor when you are comfortable, you are also doctor when there is really a critical need of you, and you have to respond, okay, equally to that. You see what I mean? Like, otherwise, one may question. And again, I'm not saying that this is an easy thing.
Dr. Khayr, isn't this
yes, please.
Isn't this a big challenge?
Yes.
In the balancing act.
Yes, this is where really the focus of the struggle, of the striving. Right. Okay, how to make sure that one dimension is not being taken care of at the expense of another.
Right.
Yes, can please, Yusuf. Okay.
Yes. In the same ayah what you are reciting, وَأَنْفِقُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ وَلَا تُلْقُوا بِأَيْدِيكُمْ إِلَى التَّهْلُكَةِ. Immediately, Quran says, وَأَحْسِنُوا.
وَأَحْسِنُوا, exactly.
Not stay at the minimum. Do more. وَأَحْسِنُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ الْمُحْسِنِينَ.
Very good, very good. And again, I mean, you see how the dynamicity, okay, it's a movement, an ongoing movement, and you see how, I mean, when you move, you see how vigilant you have to be. If you walk in the street, okay, the challenge is really minimum. Okay, you can keep your balance. If you ride a bicycle, okay, it's a different challenge. You have to maintain that balance really all the time, but it still can be, easily be achieved. If you go higher, if you are riding like let us say a horse or riding a car, imagine now you are really like a pilot driving a plane. Now it's you see how, because now you are in a the more you are elevated, okay, the maintenance of balance becomes really more critical,
Challenging.
very and imagine the people like in NASA. You see them how they are really watching so many people just to make sure that everything remain in its needed balance and equilibrium, because any deviation, you see what I mean? Like if you make a little deviation when you are riding your car, it's easy like to correct it. But imagine, God forbid, a slight deviation of a plane pilot, or like somebody like taking or an astronaut. You see how, you see, so yeah, huge disaster. So the more you elevate yourself as a believer, the vigilance will be even more. You see, like it's any deviation may be disastrous. And so the idea of ahsinu, okay, you have to do more to keep that and protect you from that destruction, at-tahluka.
Yeah.
So it is really an ongoing process. It is an ongoing journey towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it requires lot of vigilance on that pathway. So again, I think the most I mean, one important thing, I think some commentators did not really pay that attention, okay, or did not see that although Quran is using the same term that they stayed behind, but one group are hypocrites. They are not believers in essence. No. These people accepted the message truthfully, but their level of faith is not strong enough like to be ready to respond to the calls of Muhammad at every time. So they learned from that experience, okay, and at the same time they even when they asked the Prophet like to come out with them, to come out with him and the believers and a following like event, they were not really allowed. Again, so that it's like a type of discipline. So they needed some type of discipline to know that it is not really up to you. Okay, when they again, if in order to see this very well, let us go to the corresponding symmetrical verses. Okay, سيقول المخلفون إذا انطلقتم إلى مغانم لتأخذوها ذرونا نتبعكم. They are going to tell you or to say to you, if you go next time and there will be booties and spoils, okay, and now it is really like as if going to a picnic, okay, let us go with you. يريدون أن يبدلوا كلام الله. They are, and this, they are trying to change what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said about their situation, that they are not going this, I mean, like to go out with the Prophet. The Prophet has to decline as a disciplinary action, okay, for what they did in the previous situation. قل لن تتبعونا كذلكم قال الله من قبل. So it's only for that particular thing. It's most likely because after Hudaybiyah, Khaybar was liberated without also fighting, and the Muslim community like had, I mean, some gains from that. Okay, and those who al-mukhallafun who stayed behind, now they wanted to go with them now because it is easy. There is no fighting. There are nothing to lose, but we have lot to gain. So you see, like their intentions still are not really compatible with their really claim that they believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his messenger. So it was really more of a disciplinary action for what they did, like during or when Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam called upon them to go to Mecca peacefully and pray there. قل لن تتبعونا كذلكم قال الله من قبل فسيقولون بل تحسدوننا. So they will say, oh, you are doing this out of jealousy. Quran said immediately, bal, no, this is wrong. This bal, okay, when you see bal, this word or this article, okay, can you highlight this article? Bal تحسدوننا بل كانوا لا يفقهون إلا قليلا. So first of all, this bal, it's as if saying what they were saying is not really true. The reason they are saying this because their understanding is not enough. بل كانوا لا يفقهون إلا قليلا. But when you see bal, it means that there is something wrong inside them. There is some type of confusion. And this is why they are saying things that they are not reflecting the reality, their own reality and the reality on the ground. So there is another bal. فَسَيَقُولُونَ بَلْ تَحْسُدُونَنَا. Also, it is not right. But the reason they are saying all these things, okay, or the way they are, it is a reflection of the confusion inside them. They have to take care of that confusion first. And again, what does it really mean to believe? They are still confused about it. Okay, when we have the situation is right for us, oh, let us go with you. When the situation is critical and there may be, a bigger threat or where they are badly needed, they decline. It means that this is really a confusion that needs to be treated first.
They were opportunists, basically.
Very good. It's a very opportunist. So this is not compatible with belief. Right. Belief is not opportunism, okay, or like, okay, when I like it, or no. It's you go with what is required of you, okay, at that particular time, place, and circumstances.
Right.
What does really your belief dictate on you to do at that moment, okay? And especially when Muhammad ﷺ himself, which is really different from after Muhammad ﷺ, okay? In the presence of Muhammad, it's very clear. Either you are really obeying him or you are not. And Muhammad ﷺ did not really like tell them, oh, you are not a true believers, and when I come back, I will fight you. No, 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 no. But at the same time, he is not diluting, okay? Because if Muhammad tell them, okay, come with us, this may give them that idea that they were right in the first place, and it were like up to them. Okay, no, 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 it's not this. Okay, if you do something wrong, you have to be disciplined for that. And this is how they were disciplined, okay? So that they will review and reevaluate what and revisit what they have done, so that they can really adjust themselves on the pathway of true belief. And again, to show that this is just a matter of disciplining, immediately Quran asked Muhammad ﷺ to tell al-mukhallafin, those who stayed behind from the Bedouins, قل للمخلفين من الأعراب ستدعون إلى قوم أولي بأس شديد تقاتلونهم أو يسلمون. In the future, okay, you will be asked to come out with us to fight people who are like very strong, okay, of a great power in war. قوم أولي بأس شديد, and which means that these people are, you know, these Bedouins are really very like powerful people. They are very strong, and they definitely will be will be an excellent aid to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and while confronting his enemies and their threats. And so Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam tell them, okay, while you remember, like for the hypocrites, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, لن تخرجوا معي أبدا, forever. In this situation, these are not hypocrites. They were disciplined, probably during Khaybar, liberation of Khaybar, but after that, they were really called upon and they responded, and that most likely happened even after the Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam joined his Lord, left this life, and we know from the history that these people really did very well, okay, during the subsequent endeavors and confrontation of different really enemies, okay, threatening the Muslim community. So, but here I want to say something that honestly, from the sources that I looked into, I did not, and again, this is my personal understanding. Okay, I am not really forcing anyone on that, but I really want to also take your opinion about that. because here there is two things, okay, that where the enemies or the enemy is given two choices. Either they are going to be fought, تقاتلونهم أو يسلمون. When you see أو, it means these, you are talking about two different things. Either you fight, but what is the meaning of يسلمون? Now the immediate meaning to become Muslim. But we know that no one, we are not supposed like to use fighting in order like as if you are forcing, okay, your enemy like to accept the message. I think the meaning here يسلمون is from accepting the peace.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Salam.
Yes, salam. Yeah, as Quran use it, ألقى إليكم السلام. Yuslim.
Also, in exchange for paying a sum of money, that was also prevalent in those days.
I'm sorry, what?
They have to pay a certain amount of money in exchange for not fighting or giving up.
But that is part of the peace.
Right, right.
Yeah, but the money is not okay. Like it's really in compensation for protection.
Right.
And because if they did not really accept, okay, I mean, or they were not Muslims, you cannot ask them to pay zakat.
Right.
You see, so they have to pay something
Compensation.
which is and equivalent also,
Right.
because this is really like the contribution, because you have become part of the larger society. Okay, but the idea is not, I don't think that Yuslimun means like to accept Islam here. Okay, definitely if they accept Islam on their own, definitely you are not going to fight them. But when Quran is saying ستدعون إلى قوم أولي بأس شديد تقاتلونهم أو يسلمون, it means that either you are going to fight them, okay, because they are fighting you, or they accepted the peace.
They put down their weapons and they submit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, they basically they accepted, as Quran and other places use the term ألقوا إليكم السلام. Okay. ولا تقولوا لمن ألقى إليكم السلام لست مسلما. You see, so you cannot, and otherwise will fall off on I mean into the idea of لا إكراه, against لا إكراه في الدين.
Yeah.
You see, لا إكراه في الدين is still working, is still I mean operational. You cannot go and fight and I will fight you, or you accept Islam. This is by force.
لكم دينكم ولي دين.
تقاتلونهم أو يسلمون. يسلمون, I believe that it means that they accepted peace and they are not planning like to fight you back.
No compulsion.
No compulsion, exactly. And so this is why I think we have to be careful, okay, in the interpretation and also in the translation, okay. And I think because the immediate meaning, okay, because aslama, it means somebody who embraced Islam, but also it means somebody who accepted the peace, who ألقى إليكم السلام, يلقوا إليكم السلام. You see?
Can I say something?
Yes, please.
I think the next ayah is supporting your thinking. فإن تطيعوا, after they say, oh, يسلمون, فإن تطيعوا يؤتيكم الله أجرا حسنا. So if they once they stop fighting, after that, if they accept Islam, Allah will give them a lot of, ajr. I think that's what I'm thinking. In that means something.
I think it is in reference and تطيعوا in reference to al-mukhallafin, those
Is
who
it?
stayed behind. Oh yeah, فإن تطيعوا يؤتكم الله أجرا حسنا. If now you responded to the call, okay, to fight along the believers or with the believers against their enemies, okay, you will be given, you will be rewarded a big reward.
Okay.
وَإِن تَتَوَلَّوْا كَمَا تَوَلَّيْتُم مِّن قَبْلُ, because they, and during Hudaybiyah, they basically turned their backs or turned away. They did not accept the call of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. You see? So
Yeah.
وَإِن تَتَوَلَّوْا كَمَا تَوَلَّيْتُم مِّن قَبْلُ يُعَذِّبْكُمْ عَذَابًا أَلِيمًا. So you will be punished, okay? A painful punishment if you do not really again you will suffer. So you will suffer because you are in the same boat. If the believers are defeated, you will be defeated with them. You see what I mean? So your enemies will not differentiate and say, oh, you stayed behind, I'm not going. Like, no, you will be also suffering from that decision. But what we have been basically focusing on what is the objective when they come out. Either you are really going to fight these enemies, or you don't fight them if they accepted the peace. It's like in Mecca, they accepted the peace. They did not say, oh, we have become Muslim. Or in Khaybar, they did not say we have, no, but they accepted, okay, the peace, and there was basically no fighting. You got it?
Yes.
So
yeah,
I am just against the idea of translating here Yuslimun to mean to embrace Islam, because it may look as if they accepted Islam under the sword, by force, which is not acceptable. So we have to understand Yuslimun here to mean accepting the peace, to be compatible with the vision, the overall vision of Quran, that there is no compulsion, no force. People have to embrace Islam or reject to embrace it by their own choice. But people have to live peacefully. If you do not accept that message, don't fight it, or don't fight those who are really supporting it.
Dr. Khayr?
Yes, please.
Please go back to ayah number 16.
Yes.
I think they have been given a chance to redeem themselves, right?
Yes,
They give a chance
yes.
if they want to fight this time, they'll redeem. They'll be
exactly, and they are given another chance, okay? Right. Because the first chance when they declined, okay, again that was not acceptable. When they asked to come out, because I mean this is really something easy, they said, no, you are not going to come out with us. This is part of the discipline, okay? Because if they said okay, it would have given them the impression that what they did in the first place was right. No, it was not right to disobey Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Once you say that I believe, it means that you have to accept what that message entails, okay? In terms of support and standing along with Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the believers, protecting them, defending the message and supporting it, okay? Now, as you are saying, they had another chance to redeem themselves. Now, you in the future, you are going satud'auna. You are going to be, you will be called upon to face very strong people in the battleground. Okay, and we need you. Either you will be fighting them, or the fighting will stop once they accepted the peace. أو يسلمون. You see, in either way, you are really obeying. فإن تطيعوا, and once you obey, you will be rewarded for that.
Right.
But if you turn your backs again, the same way you did before, من قبل, يعذبكم عذابا أليما. You will be suffering. Okay?
Right.
And like in every situation, there are exceptions. Okay? The exceptions are if somebody is blind, legally blind. Okay? If somebody has a limb, or somebody is sick. Okay? All these situations and the like. Okay? These people are not fit for fighting. Okay, so there is no blame on them. There is no حرج. ليس على الأعمى حرج ولا على الأعرج حرج ولا على المريض حرج.
They're exempted.
Exempted. They are exempted because of their limitations,
Right.
or their type of disability. ومن يطع الله ورسوله يدخله جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار ومن يتولى يعذبه عذابا أليما. So again, how important to obey Allah and His Messenger. Again, no separation. Okay, the moment you obeyed the Prophet, you are obeying Allah. The moment you obey Allah, it means that you are obeying His Messenger. There is no separation. Okay, they are on the same side. وَمَنْ يُطِعِ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ يُدْخِلْهُ جَنَّاتٍ تَجْرِي مِنْ تَحْتِهَا الْأَنْهَارِ. This is the reward, the biggest reward. Okay, the lasting, the everlasting reward. جَنَّاتٍ تَجْرِي مِنْ تَحْتِهَا الْأَنْهَارِ وَمَنْ يَتَوَلَّى. Again, those who turn away, turns their backs, they disobey. Okay, again, their disobedience will not go without basically punishment, without a harsh discipline. Okay, so again, we have seen this group, okay, as and their behavior, okay, as a part of what was really happening. And I wish and hope that after these discussions, you have really a better understanding of the structure of the surah. How honestly, I mean, I had a deeper insight, and I can see better how that truth that looked at the beginning that it's unfair. Even the closest to Muhammad ﷺ were saying, how come you are accepting this? But Muhammad, as a messenger, as a visionary, okay, he was really seeing things different. He was not looking at the tactics, but he was really looking with the eye of the strategist. And the reality supported that strategy, that peace is really the optimal condition for people to see the truth. You cannot really let the violence and wars and battles to go unstopped, okay, or and go on and on without really a clear way of, as they call it today, like an exit plan. Because the fighting, when only if needed, okay, should not be the objective. Peace is the objective.
Right.
Allah, As-Salam, is one of the beautiful names of Allah. And we have to ask ourselves how we are going to realize that in our life. Okay, and so even if I have to give up some interest, as long as I am not diluting the principles of the message. Okay, Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did not really see any problem with that. If you don't want to write Muhammad Rasulullah, put Muhammad ibn Abdullah. It's not going to make any difference. You see what I mean? If that would really lead to the negotiations, okay, to peace,
so be it.
okay, so be it. And in that ambience, in that environment of peace, we have seen that 10 times the number of people who accepted the message during these 2 years of no war between Mecca and Medina. These are the major cities in Arabia. Basically, the number of people who embraced Islam were 10 times those who really accepted or embraced Islam from the time of the message. You are talking about 19 years. You see? And then what happened after? Mecca was liberated very easily without really much fighting. Khaybar was liberated. Later on, I mean, even those who really constituted a big barrier, like those in Ta'if, Thaqif and Hawazin, these 2 big tribes, Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was able really like to have a siege, and basically that ended also with peace. Because you see,
peace a chance to thrive. That's what.
Yes.
If we keep fighting, going from war to war and war, there is no break. There's no way to cultivate any kind of peace.
That not only and the results of that peace. Okay, because the results of that peace is people will have the chance to listen quietly. Okay, to weigh things quietly. And when people are really worried about their own lives, what type of decisions they are able to make? Their main objective is really how to protect themselves. I mean, later on, I will decide what I am going to, what decision I have really to make. At that time, they are not able to make these decisions, very important decisions. So peace remains the main objective, and it is the best environment the optimal environment for people to make, even if they decide not to join, that's fine, but they can live peacefully. And we have seen not everybody in the Middle East accepted Islam till today, and not everybody in the subcontinent became a Muslim. But these people, despite their different languages, religions, sects, lived together peacefully for a long period of time.
Right.
And so that remains a very important objective that we have to work towards it. I think humanity will reach a time when they see the impossibility of war. How far we are from that, I really don't know.
Especially open-ended wars.
Yeah, because I mean, what we have seen, only destruction.
Exactly.
Tahluka. We have seen only destruction. After years, and then you see, okay, people, I mean, each side is waiting for an opportunity like to re-attack and really to fight back. And it's not going to, it's like a vicious circle. A vicious circle of violence leading to more destruction and more people suffering instead of paying
right
attention.
Now we are witnessing. Right now we are witnessing.
Exactly.
Between Russia and US.
Yes, yeah. And so we are really like, I mean, like we are not focusing on people who are hungry, people who are really poor, people who are really still suffering of different diseases,
Really?
Let alone the impact of the pandemic today. Okay, still thousands of people are dying every day. And on top of that, you want a war? Or you don't want to stop the ongoing wars? What are your aim? Or one can be really concerned, like, is really the continuity of war becoming really the objective? And so people don't have the time really like to invent and really like to come up with new ways to improve their lives and to improve the relationships between and inshallah we'll see that more and more in surah, and the next surah we are going to discuss, Surah Al-Hujurat, which comes after Surah Al-Fath. Surah Al-Hujurat, number 49, inshallah, will be the discussion or the surah for our discussion in the coming weeks. And I am hoping that we will be able to finish that before Ramadan, or even before Brother Shakil leaves in March. Okay, so inshallah next week we will start the discussion on Surah Al-Hujurat.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. Thank you so much.
So you are welcome.